Okay, everybody, we are going to now go over to SuperViperT302 for Super Mario Galaxy 2 any percent. Just a quick reminder, of course, that we have not reached we've not reached the target, by the way, for the perfect run. So we have one more target left in the marathon. That's to play level 0 to 10 on high speed for the Dr. Mario GB 0 to 20 run. That is on Monday, so there's plenty of time for that target. But that's the last target we have. We have got a few polls as well, so we've got the Hello Kitty Cruisers poll for choosing the character. There's a Super Metroid Ascent poll to save or kill the animals, and there's also the difficulty selected Piposaru 2001. I think all those runs are tomorrow. So yeah, the Hello Kitty Cruisers, the Piposaru, and Super Metroid Ascent, they're all tomorrow. So all those polls will end tomorrow, so there's plenty of time for them as well. But please do add some incentives to your donations as well. You can change the course of someone else's run, and it's just a lot of fun. And obviously all the proceeds go to EveryoneCan as well. Again, we've raised £130 in the marathon so far. Our goal is £750 by the end of the marathon. Of course, there is quite a lot more time to go before the end of the marathon, but let's get those donations in. We haven't actually had any in today, so let's get those donations in. After this run, we will be going for a quick tea break. So after this run, we will be going for a tea break, and then after that, we will be back at approximately 6 o'clock this evening to carry on with the marathon. So Super Viper, the floor is now on you for your Super Mario Galaxy 2 run. So good luck, and let me know when you want me to start the timer.
Alright, well, let's just go ahead and dive right in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so this game does start off with roughly a 2.5 minute prologue segment. So the way any percent in SMG2 works, it's very similar to its predecessor as Super Mario Galaxy 1, as well as Super Mario 64, where in order to progress you need to collect a certain number of stars. So in this game the magic number is 70. So we need 70 stars in order to unlock the final level, which is Bowser's Galaxy Generator. And then from there we also need to collect the Grand Star from there in order to actually beat the game. So this is in essence a 71 star run. There are 242 stars in the game total, and the world record for that category is 9 hours, so obviously not really suited for a marathon setting. But this category is still pretty fun. You get to see a good bulk of the game here. We got our first little strat here. So that is a slow boost. You'll see that a few times throughout this run. So in the first game, you're actually able to climb up slopes using various techniques. They patched all of those glitches in this game, but it's still possible if you land on a slope with a high amount of speed and then jump within the first few frames of landing on it, then you can actually maintain the momentum during your jump. So you'll see that a few times throughout this run. So, unfortunately, the beginning here doesn't really have a lot to offer. This game does have a significant amount of downtime, which partly contributes to this run's length. The Galaxy speedruns are kind of infamous for having a decent amount of cutscenes and dialogue, but I'd say the gameplay more than makes up for it. Okay, so a weird thing about this game. So you may have noticed that there's multiple different numbers of those sets of text boxes that result in page flips. So whenever there's 3 or more of them, if you waste a few, or 4 or more of them, if you waste a few frames on the first 2 and then get the later one frame perfect. Okay, so there's 5 text boxes there. It's possible to skip either the second to last and the last, or just the last one, depending on how much time you waste getting on the first couple text boxes, and then whether or not you get the third or fourth one frame perfect. It's very complicated to explain. But I didn't get any text skips there, so no need to worry. Okay, so here we're in the first level of the game, Sky Station 1, and Pointer's already acting stupid. That's lovely. Okay, so yeah, the spin mechanic in this game is kind of what the 2 Galaxy games are known for, and it is pretty helpful for platforming purposes. because you can just kind of scale giant walls like this. Alright. This movement is not too good so far. Alright. So by doing a homing ground pound off that Luma, I can actually skip its launch star. I would have ended up on this planet anyways, but doing that just saves like a second or so. It's kind of precise, but it's early on in the run and it's not too bad, so it's worth showing off. Okay. So right there, I just grabbed the first comet medal of the run. Every galaxy has one of those, and they will be needed for spawning comets. I'll get more into how comets work later in the run. And as you just saw, backwards momentum is superior to forwards momentum in this game. That's something else that's going to be abused quite a bit. Okay, so this is the first boss fight. This is Pee-wee Piranha. So you're actually intended to spin at Pee-wee's shell a couple times in order to break it, but you can actually just ground pound the whole thing in one go. Okay. I had some star bits saved up there so I could stun Pee-wee and slow him down a little bit. I don't need to do that here because he takes longer to run away. Yeah, that second hit is generally easier. So this will be the first star, and the downtime is more prevalent early on in the run, but it'll start to kind of wear out as we get later into the game and there's less early game exposition stuff. So during this segment, this is just a bunch of dialogue where we kind of get introduced to the game's story. Obviously, it's all in Japanese, and the reason why I'm playing in Japanese is actually because Japanese text is actually, it scrolls even faster than English text in this game. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually playing on the Japanese Wii U Virtual Console release, so not only do I get the benefit of text, which saves roughly about a minute, I'm pretty sure, but I also get the benefit of VC loads, which saves, I think, up to about like 15 or so seconds over playing on a disc, depending on how fast your Wii is. So for example, in that cutscene alone, I probably saved about 5 seconds or so just from dialogue. So yeah, this is the hub world of the game. This is Starship Mario. There'll be a bunch of NPCs and stuff that'll get unlocked here throughout the course of the game, but pretty much every time I'm up here, my main goal is going to be to get to the yellow button, which will allow me to get to the world map. And usually the fastest movement to get there is a backflip. So I actually was holding down during that last bit of dialogue so that Mario would face the camera. I'll usually do that if I'm placed at the very top of the starship. Okay, so we only have 2 options to choose from here, so I'm going to go back to Sky Station and do the second main mission, or Sky Station 2. So for Star Select menus, I'm actually going to be pointing my Wii Remote off screen for most of them, and that allows me to automatically select any gray starred, or any of the grayed out stars or missions I haven't done yet, so I'll usually do that to auto-select them, but there will be times where I have to manually point at the screen. Alright, start at Sky Station 2, there's a pretty tight chomp cycle I need to make here. Nice. And the movement here is probably going to seem a little bit awkward. Due to the way gravity works in this game, on some planets, the optimal movement might seem kind of awkward. So that's why I did a lot of walking there. Okay, so here we have a few long jumps to do. Long jumping is kind of the fastest form of movement in the game that doesn't use any items. And then my movement inside this planet has to be pretty precise, because all the elevators here are on cycles, and I've already screwed up my movement. It's not a huge time loss, though. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. I backed it up very nicely. these last couple planets kind of speak for themselves, so now would probably be a really good time to discuss one of the main bits of tech that's actually in both of the Galaxy games. So whenever I land from a launch star, you're probably going to hear a little click, and you might see the camera sort of jitter. That is actually me going into first-person mode, and then canceling it immediately. And this enables Mario to move right away after landing from a launch star, because normally there's a little animation that has to take place. But exiting first-person mode like that automatically allows him to move. And that takes about 1 second each time I do it. So over the course of this run, I'm going to be taking a lot of launch stars, so that's really going to add up. There is actually a second way to cancel landing animations as well, because the camera cancel doesn't always work, because there are certain instances where you can't go into first person. So, for example, you can actually jump on within a 1 to 2 frame window when you land, and that will almost always work for jumping out of landing animations, but it's very restrictive, and this game runs at 60 FPS, so a frame perfect input is pretty hard to land. Okay, so next up I'm going to be going to Yoshi Star Galaxy. So early on we're going to get introduced to Yoshi, which is new to Galaxy 2 and pretty much just completely breaks the game open. Because with Yoshi there is a massive glitch that you can do called infinite fluttering that is probably the biggest glitch in the entire game, and it's especially prevalent in the speedrun. So you'll get to see a little demonstration of it here before some of the crazier applications of it. I'll kind of explain how it works here later. Just my movement there. So I'm going to be going for a skip here that saves about 20 seconds if I get it, and loses like 45 if you miss it. So hopefully I don't miss it. It is somewhat hard. Oh. So I'm supposed to bounce off that berry here. Okay, so not the full time save, but I still got it without dying. So the way infinite fluttering works in this game is normally after you do a flutter, there's a short cooldown that has to take place before you can flutter again. But you can actually cancel that cooldown period by crouching, and that will allow you to immediately chain flutters together. So you can use that to, as you can see here, both gain infinite distance and also infinite height. Typically, when you're trying to go at the speeds that I was going at there, you want to be holding sideways while also slightly in the direction of Yoshi's back, just because you get more speed that way. There is a 10-second limit to how long you can stay in the air before you just kind of lose all of your momentum and you're reduced to a very slow crawl, which is why I actually had to bounce off the fruit, because that resets that timer. So infinite fluttering is going to be done pretty much almost every time I get on Yoshi, because it allows for big skips and just traveling a lot faster. So Yoshi Star 2, the next star I'm going to do, is probably one of the best examples of that, because I can use it to skip basically the entire level and save close to a minute. This flutter isn't nearly as precise as the one in Yoshi Star 1. There is an awkward camera change midway through that I sort of have to adjust to. But it saves up to about a minute, so it's probably one of the bigger skips in this run. There we go. now we have to fight Gigalek 2, which is one of the more annoying bosses because it revolves around the pointer, which doesn't always like to work. So that first hit is pretty easy, but the second 2 hits, the latter 2 hits are kind of the tricky parts of this fight. So what I'm going to do is he's going to shoot out 2 spinies here, and I'm going to tongue both of them once, and then eat one of them, and then fire it at Gigalek 2, and then get the second one before the first one makes contact. So now I have a 3rd spiny stored for this 3rd hit, so I don't have to wait for him to shoot out another. So that saves probably close to about 8 seconds or so. That was overall a pretty good level. So your routing options are very, very restricted early on in the game, but as we get later into the run, the amount of stars and galaxies that will become available to us will drastically increase. But for now, the pathway through this game is going to be somewhat linear. Okay, so now we're going to be heading to Spin Dig Galaxy. So this introduces the Spin Drill, which is a new sort of power-up to this game. It gives Mario the ability to dig through planets, and for a good majority of the stars going to be completely optional, because jumping is a thing you can do. So for example, on this first planet, you're actually supposed to use the spin drill to get up there. So that's a frame-perfect jump. That's a jump cancel out of a landing animation. So yeah, you're not supposed to triple jump up there, but you can. And then this planet has quite a bit going for it. So I'm going to do another homing ground pound into the spin drill. Homing ground pound is basically a spin followed immediately by a ground pound. It homes in onto the nearest item, enemy, or NPC. It's what I did for the Luma bounce skip earlier, and I use it there to get a little bit of momentum. So I jump into the corner of that pillar there, which kind of clips me inside of it. That saves a few seconds of walking. So I had to go out of my way for the Kama Medal on this planet. You'll see that a few times in this run. Some galaxies have Kama Medals that are kind of out of the way, but I'm probably going to be collecting them just to add to the Kama Medal total, and again, I'll explain why later. So coming up, we have a pretty hilarious skip. So Captain Toad is supposed to lock you into dialogue as soon as you enter this planet here, but what you can do instead is go into first person and shoot him in the face, and that skips his dialogue. So that's why I collected star bits earlier in the level. Alright, this is Dig-a-Leg. This boss is pretty much all about RNG, although it's not usually that much significant for time loss. So the RNG starts here, because I'm going to be pressing up against Dig-a-Leg. I actually wanted to jump on top of me. Alright, so that's good RNG, because that makes it immediately jump to this side of the battlefield and immediately will become vulnerable. That was actually a perfect second hit, because the yellow Digga also stayed alive, which meant that it didn't try to produce another one. Alright, perfect RNG. So now I just have to not die. I have 1 health. Alright, that was a perfect Dig-a-Leg. That was about as optimal of a Dig-a-Leg as you can get, so I'm very happy with that. And then you can just drill right to the star. That was actually a 2-second gold. That was pretty nuts. Okay, so this is the first of a few instances in the run where Lava, who's the big fat purple Luma, or purple idiot as some of us like to call him, certain stars will bring you down to the bottom of the starship for level to show off various NPCs. Almost all of the time they have no implications in the speedrun. So, once the save prompt is done, we can just kind of make our way back to the yellow button. The next galaxy we're going to go to is Right Side Down Galaxy. This is definitely one of the cooler galaxies. Right Side Down is one of those galaxies that really sort of messes with your head because there's changing gravity fields everywhere. As you can see, it's either on the floor or the ceiling. But there's a lot of really cool skips you can do here that mostly just revolve around convenient level design. So for starters, we have this cool backflip here. If I do it right, I can get all the way down to this flower. And then you're supposed to hit that lever to switch the direction of gravity, but you can actually just use this item block instead to get all the way down here. Another slip jump there, nice. And then you're supposed to actually hit another gravity lever here, but once again, these elevators are conveniently placed right next to where you need to go. So that's already two pretty massive time saves in this star. Alright, now I have a pretty tricky section here with the fire flower, so I'm going to try to skip breaking some of these boxes. Alright, so that's one. That's definitely the harder of the two. There we go. So that's actually quite a bit riskier than it may seem, because getting crushed in this game is automatic death regardless of how much health you have, unlike Super Mario 64. And here I'm just skipping the entire rest of the level by just jumping on the wall here. You're actually meant to be able to go up there. But you can make creative use of it to save time. Okay, so I'm actually going to be re-entering Right Side Down because there's actually a secret star or hidden star here. And I have to re-enter Right Side Down 1, which means I will have to point at the screen, but I can skip the level intro cutscenes because I've already seen them. So that's a nice little quality of life thing. Nice. I was able to skip the wall jump there. To get that proper amount of momentum from that jump is somewhat precise. So this is very similar to the trash minigames from Galaxy 1, where I have to break a bunch of boxes with the fire flower in a time limit. It's pretty hard to do casually, but in speedrunning it's also pretty precise. There's a lot of precise positioning and angles you have to use here. Alright, 11's not too bad. My best is a 13. You can get up to like a 14 or even a 15 if you're really, really good. But really, as long as you don't fail the mission, it's not too bad. Okay, so that's it for Right Side Down. And this Toad that Level's about to introduce here, he will be important later on, so don't forget him. Okay, so now we're off to Fluffy Bluff Galaxy, where we have another sort of fan-favorite power-up here with the Cloud Flower, which gives Mario cloud platforms that you can use to cross otherwise impossible distances, intended or unintended. It's probably, aside from Yoshi, which although you can't really count that as a power-up, it's probably the most broken power-up in the game. It's got a lot of really cool, weird physics to it that can be exploited. So I'm going to start by doing the secret star here, which requires me to get 100 coins to defeat a Hungry Luma. That's actually the highest number of coins required for a Hungry Luma, but there's two pretty convenient places to get them. So first in this room I can get 60 of them here. Although I have to be careful not to let these timers expire. Okay. And then the remaining 40 I can get on the cloud where the Hungry Llama is. Okay, so now I can feed all the coins to this Luma and it will just transform into a planet because Nintendo logic. And this planet has its own star that I can collect. So this is just going to be a pretty short tower climb. I'll sort of let the movement here speak for itself, and then I'll kind of explain how the tech works after that. Okay, that's pretty decent. So the main tech you can do with the cloud flower is you can crouch as soon as you make a cloud to cancel the cloud making animation, which allows you to move right away. That's probably the most important bit of tech, because it saves a little bit of time every single time you do it. But the cloud also has sort of an upwards bounce when you make one, and in the Galaxy games, moving platforms will actually give your jumps inertia. So if a platform's moving up and you jump, then your jump will go a lot higher. So you can utilize the cloud's bounce to get some pretty sick jumps. So I'm going to be doing Fluffy Bluff 1 next. This is actually going to be one of the few galaxies where I won't be getting the Comet Medal, because there's actually a really big skip I can do here. That saves like over a minute. So I'm just going to go up onto this tree here, and then there's just no death plane here, so I can just jump off. And then with a couple of well-placed clouds, I can actually make it all the way to the end of the stage. So that takes advantage of a mechanic where if you're Cloud Mario and you long jump from the center of a cloud over an abyss, your jump just gains an insane amount of horizontal speed for some reason. I guess because you're supposed to be more floaty. And then you saw me do a few cloud-boosted long jumps there. That's just making a cloud while grounded and then using the bounce to get an insanely high long jump. So that's that level. So this will be the first instance of being brought down to the engine room to be introduced to a certain power-up. This happens on specific stars, and again, there's just no point to this room, so I'm just going to get out of here as soon as possible. This movement back up to the helm is pretty difficult. Okay, so now we're going to be heading off to Bowser Jr.'s Fiery Flotilla. So this is the first of the castle levels in the game. So each of these castle levels holds a grand star, which will allow me to move on to the next world. And obviously they involve a boss fight against either Bowser Jr. or Bowser. And they're usually really, really hard. So within the stage here, there's a pretty tight thwomp cycle I need to make right at the start here. It's really easy to die doing this movement. So hopefully I don't die. Alright, we should be good. So then I can actually use that thwomp to get on top of the castle here. And another common thing with this game is that the gravity fields of certain planets are often really bigger than they need to be. So I can abuse that here to just kind of skip the entire level. That's another common skip in the Galaxy games. Alright, so the boss in this stage is a Gobblegut, a giant dragon with 6 bellyache bulges that I need to hit. And what you're intended to do is have Gobblegut dig his face into the planet and then attack the bulges as they pass by. but you can actually attack him while he's in the air, and there's a very precise setup that allows you to do the fight very, very quickly if you execute everything perfectly. So I'm going to start by trying to hit bulges 5, 6, and 1 here. Alright, that was perfect. And now for the second phase, I'm going to run down and in a straight line. This will make Bubblegum follow me and get closer to the planet so I can get the last 3 hits a lot easier. I turn around at a specific time there. Alright, that was a perfect fight. So, you actually have to do that fight twice in this run, and if a single thing goes wrong, then you mess up your whole strategy and you basically have to improvise. So you usually lose about like 20 seconds, if not more than that. And it's a very tough fight to get down. That's the end of World 1. So there's 6 worlds in this run. There's technically a 7th world in the game, but it's only a post-game available, so you won't be able to see it in this run unless the perfect run gets met. In which case you will see the very last star in the game. So you saw a little timer there in the lower right-hand corner. That's at 1 minute and 38.61 seconds. That's the in-game time I got for that star. That's how we track ILs for this game. Nice little addition Galaxy 2 adds. Okay, so here's World 2. Again, it's going to be mostly pretty linear. There's not a whole lot of stars I have access to at this point. Then we're going to start with Puzzle Plank, another pretty popular galaxy, mostly for its music. For speedruns, this star is mostly just going to be about movement, and a couple of minor skips that you'll see. There's a bit of awkward platforming throughout this level.
Yes.
Okay, on this upcoming planet, I'm going to do a simple skip where I just backflip into this launch star instead of going to the bottom half of the planet. This spin actually looks kind of tight. Holding A in both the Galaxy games actually makes your spin go a lot higher, which is something the game never tells you. As well as the fact that for some reason you can spin with both the Wii Remote and the Nunchuck, and with Mario, spinning with the Wii Remote actually goes higher. For whatever reason, the two are just different from each other. A lot of cool movement in that section. It's also very easy to get knocked off by something and die. Okay, this planet is pretty screwed up because the gravity here is really weird. So sometimes when you ground pound these puzzle pieces, you'll actually hit them more than once. It's pretty much impossible for a human to manipulate, but right there I just got one, so that actually saved me a little bit of time. It's actually pretty rare that I get that. And then we have a rematch with the Mandibug stack, which is actually a mini-boss from Galaxy 1. Pretty easy fight. There you go. Alright. So after this star, Lubba's actually going to introduce the Grand World map to us, which is actually a pretty essential part to routing in this game, because it allows for not having to backtrack through each individual world. Because I am going to have to do world hopping later in the run for some cleanup sessions. But yeah, as you can see here, you can just zoom out, and this allows you to navigate from world to world. So if I'm in World 5 and I need to get to World 1, for instance, I can just zoom out there and just go straight to World 1 instead of having to go back through every single individual world, which would just be really annoying and tedious, and it would take forever. Okay, so here we have Hightail Falls 1. This is another Yoshi-based galaxy. There's actually a Yoshi-specific fruit here, the first of a few in this game, and it is the Dash Pepper. So when you eat this pepper, Yoshi starts to run really, really fast. And the effect actually persists between launch stars, so I want to try to hold on to that effect as long as I can. And also you can just run up steep walls for whatever reason. So on this planet I'm going to be traveling up the left path here. It does have a pretty tight dodge here, but it allows me to get this Dash Pepper. Which again just speeds this up by a little bit. And then on this planet I can also delay grabbing this final Dash Pepper to save a little bit of time. And we have another infinite flutter skip coming up here. I have to jump off of this platform as it's lowering. And then by holding specific angles in the air, I can maintain some of the Dash Pepper momentum while fluttering forward, which allows me to get all the way over here. Pretty tight snap for the combo here. Okay, so that needs an explanation. When you dismount off of Yoshi in this game, you maintain all of the momentum you had going into the dismount. So that is that. So what I did at the end there was I dismounted off of Dash Pepper Yoshi while going up a really steep slope, which gives you a lot of added speed and distance. And you'll see me use that at the end of some flutters to sort of get around the 10-second speed limit. Just so I can extend the length of the momentum. And so here we have Cosmic Cove Galaxy. This is a pretty chill galaxy. Not really a whole lot here in terms of interesting strats, but the route here is sort of not what you'd expect, because I'm going to be doing Cosmic Cove 1 first, but I'm also going to be collecting 15 coins to feed a Hungry Luma throughout this star. So I'm going to take a detour here to grab some starbits here in the shell. So these worm enemies, normally if you kill them by just shining the light at them with the shell, they give you starbits, but if you shoot them with a starbit first, then they give you coins. And I want to do that twice in this route. So I'm using the shell here instead of regular swimming, because while in Galaxy 1 you could just spam spins underwater to go super, super fast, they actually added a cooldown time between underwater spins in this game. So using the shell underwater is actually pretty much faster than trying to use spins, and it takes significantly less exercise, so it's a win-win. And then also with the shell you can do these cool little jumps out of the water. So I'm gonna go, so I hit the switch to freeze the lake, but I'm also gonna feed the Hungry Luma. I'm not gonna be taking its launch star right away though, but instead I'm just gonna go ahead and get Cosmic Cove 1. It's just, the routing just works out better this way. I can actually skate over here, which is a pretty fast form of movement. Okay, so I'm going to re-enter Cosmic Cove in order to get the secret star, but this is a part of the run where I have to be somewhat careful, because I mentioned earlier that I usually point my Wii Remote off screen to auto-select grayed out stars, but I actually don't want that to happen here, because then I'll select Cosmic Cove 2, and I won't be able to get to that launch star in Cosmic Cove 2, so I'd have to sit through the level intro cutscenes and then exit out, and it would waste about like 30 seconds. So I have to select Cosmic Cove 1 manually. A lot of new runners end up forgetting it. So hopefully my pointer decides to cooperate here and doesn't accidentally select Cosmic Cove 2 for me. Alright, we're good. And I don't need to feed the Hungry Luma again, so I can just make a direct beeline to the launch star. So yeah, this is the cooldown between spins that I was talking about. You can't really chain spins underwater any faster than that. I'm also going to be picking up a few star bits here. I actually haven't been... So the reason why I haven't been picking up that many star bits, other than for tricks within levels to like stun enemies and stuff, is because whenever you complete most stars with either star bits or coins in your inventory, then there's text boxes that count them down, and they waste about a second each time you get them. So I want to try to avoid those as much as possible. So this is the secret planet that I unlocked. This is a bunny chasing mission, the only one in this game. Okay, so what you're actually supposed to do to catch that bunny is hit ground pound a switch in order to freeze the lake, so you can actually escape to catch the bunny, because otherwise you're just too slow. But if you stun it with star bits at the start of the sequence, it just runs the wrong way for some reason, and makes catching it free. So, remember that toad that I told you to keep in mind earlier? This is actually kind of a nice way to also bring in the Starbit discussion. So I do need Starbits to unlock Hungry Luma Galaxies in this run, but I'm going to be getting them all from right here. So this is the Bank Toad. The way the Bank Toad works is that you can deposit Starbits into it in one save file, and then withdraw them in another. So these are Starbits from another save file. I need about that many for this run. So this means I don't have to actually collect Starbits in any of the galaxies. And it does take a little bit of time to feed Hungry Lumas in this game, especially when there's other stars available, but usually the stars they unlock are really, really fast, so they're worth getting. And kind of a similar thing applies to comet medals. So yeah, this is sort of like a New Game Plus sort of run, but it is the standard for running this game. Okay, so Honey Bloom just has 2 stars, and the first star I'm going to be getting is the Secret Star, which is, I think the fastest star in the game that isn't a green star. It's literally just right at the beginning of the level. And I'm just gonna kind of let this speak for itself. Yeah, so pretty fast star, definitely worth doing. And interestingly, we're actually going to have a little overlapping of events here. So because I just collected Honey Bloom's secret, I'm going to be brought down to the bottom of the starship here, because there's a bee NPC I can meet, but also because I just collected 15 stars, I'm supposed to get a letter from the Male Toad. So this little event will take place first, and then I get warped straight up to the Male Toad to receive the letter. So I basically skip having to travel back up from the bottom of the starship. So that saves a little bit of time. I'll be doing that again later in the run, to a greater extent. So now I'm actually going to re-enter and do Honey Bloom 1. This galaxy basically revolves around the bee mushroom, so I'm going to try to avoid it as much as possible. But pretty much the entire level is in 2D, so there's not really a whole lot I can do to skip certain things. So this level is mostly about movement. Alright, so you're not normally supposed to be able to stand on clouds and flowers unless you have the bee mushroom, but you actually have a 6-frame window to jump off of them, and I'll be trying to use that here to get through this section. Oh, that's not good. So, I'll try this again. Not perfect, but it'll do. So here I have no choice but to grab the bee mushroom because I need it in order to get through this section of the level. I'm gonna intentionally take damage on this Choppa here so that I can get through this whole section a little bit quicker. Because that gets rid of the bee mushroom. Okay, and you can technically play through this last section without the bee mushroom as well, but that's stupidly hard and really just it's really meant for ILs. So this last section is just going to be mostly me flying around with the bee mushroom. Interestingly, this star we used to actually believe was too slow to be in the route, but as it turns out, doing this star early on allows for certain world map events to overlap in ways that end up saving more time than if an alternate star was done. It's very complicated to explain. Again, routing in both the Galaxy games is more of a science than an art form. Alright. So aside from messing up in the common metal section, that was alright.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Alright, so now we're going to be heading off. We have just enough stars to unlock the barrier to Bowser's lava lair, which will be the first Bowser level in the run. There's a lot of... this level is kind of just one trick after another. It's a pretty satisfying level to go all the way through perfectly, but it's also very hard, and one mistake can kind of snowball the level. There's a health management is very important here. So the star, I'm supposed to kill a Magic Koopa to make a full star appear, but again, gravity fields are usually way bigger than they need to be. So I can just long jump there instead. And then here I can also just side flip to skip a spring, or not. And I did not want to talk to that Luma. Alright, well, I guess we're taking the spring after all. So I'm grabbing this life shroom here to get 3 extra bars of health, because there's going to be a lot of lava boosting I want to do in this level. But I have to make sure I don't go below 4 health, otherwise I won't be able to get the extra 3 health back, and I need at least 4 health in order to do a skip at the end. So here I'm going to do a lava boost here. This will take 2 ledges of health off, and I need this to skip a hammer bro fight. Right, this section is somewhat tricky. So right here I'm going to double jump into the lava in order to store a triple jump, and then once I land from the lava bounce, let me get up here to get into the swamp easier. Nice, I got that jump. So I jumped off that womp as it was rising upwards, and again, that just... that gives my jump a lot more height, so I was able to make it all the way to that meteor. Alright, here's the skip I needed 4 health for. There's a bunch of snake blocks you're supposed to ride to get to the end of this level, but you can just kind of lava just to skip all of that. So, normally when you land in the lava, because that probably looked a little bit weird, normally, after you land on ground again, you do a short little bounce, and then after you do the bounce, you can regain regular control of Mario. But, by doing that first bounce and then landing in the lava again, the game remembers that you did the first bounce. So that's why I was able to immediately long jump across the second statue. So this is the first fight with Bowser. Bowser fights in this game are usually pretty straightforward. They don't usually have a whole lot going for them. So basically Bowser punches the planet, his fist gets stuck and he has to pull it out, and then he summons some meteors and you ground pound them into him. And you have to do that a total of 4 times. I could have actually hit that. I could have actually gone for that meteor because it was closer. Bowser can punch out the meteors in these fights, so you usually want to be cautious whenever you can. Yeah, you usually want to try to get the meteor that's closest to Bowser. So the first two hits are pretty straightforward. For the third and fourth hits, Bowser's going to breathe fire before he punches, and where his fire attack ends will actually be where he starts to aim his next punch. So with that knowledge, I can manipulate him into punching right away. And every missed hit on these fights is about 20 seconds lost. So you really don't want that to happen. That's a pretty big mistake at a top level. Okay, so that's it for this Bowser fight. Again, this fight is pretty simple, but some of the later fights will add some additional features that make them much more complicated.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Did you just say something?
Sorry, yeah. Do we have time for a quick donation?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so we just had a £15 from Rip and Siebes. So these were the Unravel 2 runners, or Rip was the Unravel 2 runner from before. Siebes was supposed to take part but couldn't. But yeah, so there's a £15 donation from them. Comment is great marathon, great run, gotta love it, and thank you both for that £15 donation. It also goes towards the difficulty selection for Piposari 2001. The expert difficulty, and it also goes towards the target for play level 0 to 10 on high speed in the Dr. Mario GB 0 to 20 run, which happens on Monday. So thank you guys for that donation, and don't forget to donate as well to anyone else who is in the chat. Our goal by the end of the marathon, of course, is £750, and I will be posting the link periodically in the chat for you all.
Okay, so World 3 is where the route starts to kind of get a lot more complicated and where the linear structure of this game starts to break down. Mostly because our first cleanup session is going to take place here. So we're going to have to do some world hopping, and comets are going to start spawning in World 3, and that will kind of mix things up quite a bit. For now, we'll just kind of continue as normal. So we're going to go to Cloudy Court here first. So this brings back the Cloud Flower, so we get to see all that beautiful tech again. And this entire star is basically just going to be amusing all of the Cloud Flower mechanics to go fast. So at the start here, I'm actually going to abuse sort of a 4 cloud strat, because normally you only have 3 clouds in your inventory. However, what I can do here is, after I get across this gap, I can cloud boost into this Cloud Flower to replenish my cloud stock, and then use the remaining 3 clouds to cross this gap. So basically using 4 clouds for a single maneuver. I did not mean to use a cloud there. So I need to ledge grab this jump so I can use all 3 clouds here. So I can get across this gap and skip that launch star. Right. So this 2D section has a couple really difficult parts here. First we have another 4 cloud strat. And then there's some crushers at the end of this level that have a common metal inside them, and I want to try to one-cycle them. This is actually somewhat tight. Nice. So again, if you miss that, it's very easy to lose 10 seconds or even die, because you'll usually get crushed. But there's a couple of pretty good setups to get through there quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the next star is going to be Freezy Flake's Secret Star, and if anybody's in the chat, seems like it's somewhat inactive, but this is going to be the first of a couple of skating minigames involving the chimp, where we have to beat his high score. And you're on a time limit to beat the high score, but there's no way to stop the timer early. You have to let it count all the way down, and it doesn't lose time to get as high of a score as possible. So if you want to guess what score I'm going to get, you want to guess anywhere between 500 and 900 points, and only guess in multiples of 10. And my rules is that if no one gets it exactly right, whoever is closest, either ahead or behind, we're not following Price's Right as rules, will end up winning, and you don't usually win anything other than the satisfaction of winning. Yeah, these minigames are usually pretty straightforward. So basically, as long as you beat the high score within the allotted time limit, it doesn't really matter what score you get. Okay, so the patterns you can get on this minigame, they are consistent. However, they can be rotated one of 3 different ways. But once you know what initial rotation you have, it's fixed for the rest of the minigame. So I saw that the first gummit there spawned in the lower right corner, so now I have muscle memory to get through the rest of this minigame. Also, I'm skating backwards. If you press Z while skating, you can just skate backwards for no reason. It looks hilarious, and it doesn't really impact your speed or movement at all. Right, 660, that was laughable, but it would have still beat the other chimp challenge, the chimp skating challenge, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, and as I just alluded to, there's another one later in the run. So, if you missed your opportunity there, you'll be able to guess again in a little over an hour from now.
Yeah.
So next is Freezy Flake 1. This is another star that's sort of straightforward, but it is somewhat tricky to get down. I'm on a really tight time limit for most of it. Yeah, that's probably not going to work. Yeah, getting that early fireball is actually somewhat precise. So once I collect this fire flower here, I have until this fire flower runs out to get to the comma medal in the next section. There's like a couple seconds of leeway here. But thankfully, you can simplify the movement to make it somewhat easier. Alright, I made it. So missing that can be up to about like a 20-second time loss, so that's really good to make. And then I can use this last fire flower here to just blow up the statue. Okay. So Luigi's going to make a little bit of a cameo appearance here. So from this point on, Luigi's actually going to start showing up at the start of various stars, and you can talk to him to switch to playing as him for that one star. Luigi does run faster and jump higher than Mario, so he is technically better for speedruns, but it takes too long to switch to him, and then he talks to you before you switch back. And you can't really switch between them freely until post-game. So this entire run will be done as Mario. Which just kind of works out better anyways. So this is a Honey Hall's Galaxy. So at the start of this star, I'm going to turn the camera a few times. So for the most part, if something's moving and it's not on camera, it won't move. So by doing that, I'm actually able to manipulate some cycles in the next section in order to potentially make a faster cycle. So hopefully I can make this. It saves a couple seconds if you can get it. I don't know what just happened there. I think I tried to long jump a little too late. So now my cycles are going to be kind of off here. So I'm just going to kind of have to wait this out. Or at least to be able to grab that checkpoint. So those first two sets of platforms, those actually do operate on cycles. This and the next one actually start moving when you enter a certain radius. So they're actually not cycle-based at all. And you can skip most of them because long jumps are OP as heck. And this common metal platform is also cycle-based, but it only moves at specific times. And we get Yoshi in this section, so you can probably guess what we're about to do. Yeah, this power-up is the Bulb Berry. It eliminates floors underneath you that otherwise don't exist. Obviously, I didn't really need it there. It'll be useful for some stars later on. Okay, so I just got my 4th star from World 3, which means that from this point onwards, comets are going to start spawning, which is what I've been collecting those comet medals for. So I'm going to be getting a couple more stars and letting them build up in the earlier worlds, and then I'll be making a couple backtracking sessions for them. So we're going to stay in Honey Halls for the time being. We're going to get the 2nd star here. This star is mostly just a bunch of long jumps. It's not super exciting, other than the fact that optimizing long jumps actually takes quite a bit of precision. Mainly because it's very easy to lose frames every time you do a long jump if you don't press your buttons at the right time. You have to like press Z and A at exactly the same time to maintain running speed after a running long jump. And obviously you want to take corners as tightly as possible. There's a couple tight long jumps in this section that actually look scarier than they really are, such as that one. Yeah, when you're chaining long jumps like that, there's a little frame window you have to not lose a whole lot of speed as you're long jumping. And then you also want to make sure that you press Z and A at roughly the same time, so that if you start running after the long jump ends, you can maintain running speed. Okay, so we're going to be doing a couple Hungry Luma galaxies now, starting with the one in World 3, which is B Block. And this Hungry Luma is actually kind of weird, because for some reason the last star bit always shoots out later than the rest. It's one of 2 Hungry Lumas in the game that's like this, but the other Hungry Luma is in World S, which we won't be doing. And it actually is helpful here, because I can much easily set up a backflip to the button here. It's easier to time that way. Another interesting thing about the Hungry Lumas is that I was holding B during the final text boxes before the feeding began, and that allows me to that makes it so that the game will only shoot star bits if your pointer is pointed at the Hungry Luma, which makes it a little easier to feed. Okay, so B block 1 is basically entirely about cycles, because the blocks switch between the green and yellow ones every 8 beats of the song. It is also a bunch of long jumps, but I actually have to pay attention to how precise they are here. So I intentionally slow down there in order to not get caught on those green blocks, but now I have to move quickly. And then here we have some silver stars to collect. Right, a couple sketchy sections, but that was a perfect level. That's another star where if you miss a single cycle, you usually just have to improvise. And it usually ends up being a really big time loss.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now I'm actually going to use the Grand World Map again to go from World 3 to World 1, and we're going to begin the first cleanup session. So there's a couple stars that I couldn't get earlier, and we're actually going to start with yet another Hungry Luma Galaxy. This time it's going to be Flip Swap. So I didn't have 300 star bits earlier, that's why I didn't unlock this in my first trip. So yeah, I'm holding B here, so now after the text box is clear, I can just, then I will only shoot star bits if the pointer was pointed at the Hungry Luma and I forgot to backflip because I'm awesome at the game. So Flip Swap has a pretty interesting mechanic where every time you spin, it switches between the red and blue platforms being active. And you can actually abuse how the platforms sort of rise up in order to get some insane height to your jumps. And so I can use these to get some long jumps that skip over massive chunks of the level. So I'll be going for several of these. This first one is probably the hardest one. It's the easiest to die to. There we go. The second one's also pretty tricky. Right. And then the last 3 are usually not that bad. So you can also cancel a spin with a single jump or a long jump, which allows me to switch the platforms here without losing momentum. Okay, I meant to long jump off that platform, but I didn't press Z in time. Still not too bad of a level. It's very easy. Again, that's another level where it's very easy for one simple mistake to cost you a ton of time. So I will gladly accept that for a marathon. Okay, so now we're going to begin our trek through the comets. So comets are basically modified versions of stars that add some sort of challenge to them. And in order for a comet to spawn in a galaxy, you need the comet metal from that galaxy, and you need a certain number of comet metals total. So if I collect a comet metal from a galaxy that doesn't have a comet, it's just to add to that total. I'll need to be getting 32 comet metals in total throughout this run. So this is a Yoshi Stars Comet. This is a romp comet, where the goal is to just kill a bunch of enemies within a time limit, and there's usually some sort of gimmick involved. The gimmick here is actually the Rainbow Star, which is sort of the invincibility star, except while you're in Rainbow Mario, you can actually build up P-speed by running on the ground, but you lose that P-speed if you slow down in any way or bump into a wall. And maintaining it throughout this entire star is really tricky. Alright, so Spiny just died, but it went off camera before its death animation completed. So whenever that happens, the counter doesn't actually increment. So you have to let the Spiny complete its death animation on camera because of the whole moving objects don't update when they're not on camera thing. So that's messed up a lot of players in the past. Oh, I'm probably gonna end this level with a star bit unless I can shoot it out frame perfectly. I don't know if that worked or not. There are certain stars where that doesn't actually lose the time, but for the most part, you just don't want to end with any star bits in your inventory.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I actually was able to spit it out. Okay, so now we're gonna go do Sky Station's Comet. So this is the first speedrun Comet. If I were playing on the English version, I could make a speed space run joke, but that doesn't necessarily apply to the Japanese version here. So Galaxy 2 adds a twist to the speedy comets, where some of them have clocks throughout the level that add 10 seconds to your time that you need to collect, otherwise you just won't have enough time to finish the level. This is a shortened version of Sky Station 1 on a timer, so it skips a lot of planets. So as you can see, I'm already on this. This is the last planet before Pee-wee Piranha. So I need to get at least one clock here in order to have enough time to finish the star. But I'll grab a couple more for safety. Great. So this is the Pee-wee Fright again. Again, I'm just going to try to ground pound the eggshell instead of spinning at it. Okay, so if you hit Pee-wee with star bits right as it's about to transition into the cutscene, it can actually soft lock the fight. Because it'll make it impossible to interact with Pee-wee, and the cutscene will just never begin. So if that were to have happened there, I would have had to restart the level, which would have been a really big time loss. But thankfully, we're good. If that happens in Sky Station 1, you actually have to reset because the game is just straight up soft locked. Okay, so I needed to get those stars now in order to have enough stars to open the barrier to Bowser Jr.'s Fearsome Fleet without needing to get extra slow stars in World 3. So now I can go back to World 3 and finish up there. First, we're going to do Tall Trunk. So Tall Trunk 1 is another star that's just kind of one trick after another, but it's another level where getting it all to go smoothly can be rather challenging, and most mistakes are very costly here. So on this first planet, you're supposed to use Yoshi and the Blimp Fruit in order to climb up this tree, but you can actually just use Mario's wall jumps and whatnot to get up there. And skip Yoshi entirely. Barely worked. I'll go for this fairy bounce here. Okay, I had a bad angle there. We'll just do that instead. Okay, not too bad. And so, no Yoshi need for Yoshi there, but now we can use Yoshi. In fact, I have to. So this Infinite Flare to get this Kama Medal is kind of awkward because it's straight backwards. Alright, I barely grabbed that. If you miss that and have to flutter forward for it, then you lose your ability to go backwards, and then you have to grab the Blimp Fruit, and it's just super slow. Alright, so I'm ditching Yoshi here in order to get to this launch star a little bit quicker, and also because I'll be able to ground pound to fall down this long little tunnel here. And Yoshi will just be in his egg ready for me to go. And then I need the Blimp Fruit in order to actually climb up the tree here, because infinite fluttering upwards is actually really, really slow. So the main optimizations here are just staying close to the inside of the tree. And then I also shook out of that Blimp Fruit with the nunchuck so I could keep my cursor pointed at the next Blimp Fruit. Pretty involved level. Got quite a few interesting things going for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then we just have one more star here, and that's going to be Cloudy Quartz Comet. So this is going to be the first comet with cosmic clones, which are basically Shadow Marios that copy your inputs frame perfectly. They're not... They can be a pretty big nuisance in a lot of stars that have them. So... this comet will actually unlock all of the cosmic clone comets in the game, so I kind of want to do it now. In this first section, I can actually prevent the cosmic clones from spawning altogether. So they were supposed to spawn there, but if you just barely touch the edges of these starships, then they don't ever spawn. Alright. You can actually keep them from spawning all the way throughout this entire section, but it doesn't really matter time-wise if you do or not. Right, and then here's where they're at their worst. Because if you screw up in one of these wall jumping sections, they will also screw up in the wall jumping section, and they will basically just block your way when you try to get back out. Okay, so we're good. So I have 28 stars now, which is just enough to go to Bowser Jr.'s fearsome fleet. And this is probably one of the scariest stars in the run for sure. Both as a viewer and as a runner. Because the entire level is basically one height, so you get Yoshi right at the start, which means infinite fluttering can be heavily abused to just skip the entire level, which is normally just a bunch of auto-scrollers. And there are multiple different routes you can do here, and I'll be going for the fastest variant, which gets 0 checkpoints, and if you die at the end, you lose a minute, because you go all the way back to the beginning. And the flutters are not exactly the easiest things to do. But if I get this, then it'll be really, really slick. So as soon as I get on Yoshi, I'm gonna infinite flutter over to an asteroid that, for some absurd reason, has collision. And I use a side flip so I can gain a little bit more height with each flutter. And then once I get onto this asteroid, I can infinite flutter to a question block that's in the middle of where the airships normally are. And then this is a really, really precise flutter here. Okay, so your angle needs to be really precise in order to get everything to line up properly, and you also need to be really good at managing your height there. Because below you is obviously certain death. So, thankfully that went really, really well. And now we get to fight Mega Hammer, which is another pointer-based boss that can just go absolutely horribly if the game decides it wants to. that wasn't too bad. It could have gotten a little bit smoother. Okay, now we got a few pretty interesting stars coming up here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the next star is Boulder Bowl 1, and this star's position in the route has probably changed, like, I think 3 or 4 times at this point. It's actually kind of hilarious. And actually, I should probably mention that the route I'm doing is actually not the current fastest route. The world record route is much faster than this, but it can be faster by up to about like 30 seconds or something, but it's also way riskier. And I don't really know this. I'm not good at the strats that allow the route to be possible, and it's not marathon safe anyways. So Boulder Bowl 1 has a pretty interesting skip I can do here involving Rock Mario. So you see that second planet over there? That planet is really, really slow. So, but you can use a gravity exploit to skip directly to the third planet from here. You can actually do this either with or without Rock Mario, and here I'm going to do it with Rock Mario because I need this to get the common medal. And the way I'm actually going to do the skip requires a kind of glitch that is pretty neat. Okay, so normally when you go onto one of those ramps, the ramp takes effect automatically and just launches you to the next planet. But if you do a spin jump onto the ramp, it actually prevents the ramp from taking effect. And so I was able to veer off to the left and jump to the next planet. And that gave me enough momentum to do that skip. So, pretty cool looking skip, and it's much faster than what we used to do. Alright, this is Rolladillo. This boss sucks. This first hit's actually not too bad, but the other 3 hits are really, really bad. Because if you're in Rolladillo's immediate line of sight from here on out, then it will initiate this rolling attack that wastes a lot of time. So I'm going to try to bait him by coming at him from behind like this. But since he's trying to chase you while you're trying to chase him, it can be very, very awkward. You can get that second hit in one roll if your angle's good, but my angle was not good.
Sure, just a quick mention about something. I think the stream kind of disconnected for a little bit on the stream. I think we're back on, but sorry to anyone who's sorry to anyone who's watching about that. I'll keep an eye on it. I think
He's screwing up or whatnot.
yeah. Hold on. There we go. We're back.
It's like, they're not missing
It might
much.
be your internet that's messing up slightly, that's causing it to disconnect. But
My internet seems fine. It might be the server.
yeah.
Whatever, it's back up. You didn't miss much. I did another mail toad up warp.
We've lost it again.
Which saved a little bit of time. So I'm re-entering now and doing Boulder Bowl letter. This time I'm going to be doing Boulder Bowl 1 skip without Rock Mario, which is a little bit faster. Aside from this long jump. Okay, so now I have to lure a Goomba over to a Gearmo, and this Goomba can be kind of fickle sometimes, but we have ways to manipulate it into doing what we want. By taking damage here, I get it to stop right there so that it doesn't stop in the middle of the path. Okay, sometimes the game can just randomly soft lock there, which isn't a huge problem for this game because this game does autosave, but it can be kind of annoying. It's like a 2-minute time loss if it happens, and it has happened to a lot of runners. Okay, so the next 6 stars are all comets. Varying degrees of interest and difficulty. Okay, first up we have Hightail Falls Comet, which is just a repeat of Hightail Falls 1, but with a timer. The star is actually a bit different here than it was before, because since I don't need the Kama Medal, I can actually do a much faster ending. And also there's some holes in the ground and meteors falling from the sky for inexplicable reasons. Although those usually don't pose much of an issue. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of jump cancels this run. Keep in mind all of those are frame perfect. I think some of them might have a 2-frame window though. So it really just depends on the star. So again, if you missed Hightail Falls 1, I'm basically going to try to keep this dash pepper in effect for as long as possible so I can go fast. If I bonk on anything head-on while traveling up a steep wall, I actually will fall all the way down. So that's a risk here, for instance. Alright, so I'm going to talk about the skip I'm going to do at the end here. So there's a variable in the Galaxy games called tilt that measures how far you're leaning forward or back on a planet, and this changes depending on the planet's gravity and its slope. And if your tilt is making you lean super far back, then your jump will actually gain a lot more height. I can jump at the very edge of this wall, which means I'll be leaning super, super far back, and I just gain an insane amount of height. And that allows me to get all the way up here, and that is faster if you're not getting the Comet Medal. Okay. So this next star is basically all luck. It is Boulderable Comet, definitely one of the worst stars in the run. So this is the second Romp Comet in the game. It's basically killing 30 crabbers on the planet where Rolodilla was. And they just kind of do whatever they feel like doing. You have to kill them with Rock Mario. And if you run out of time, you die and have to redo the entire star. There is one bit of tech that the game never explains to you that makes the star way easier. If you jump and press Z while you're rolling, you can actually end the roll early. Which, again, makes the star a lot more doable. So, my goal here is just to kind of hope that these guys group up until I reach about 24 or 25 of them, and then I can kind of start focusing on some of the individual ones. Alright, this is not going super well so far. So I got 25, so I can focus on some of the individual ones. Where's the last one? Oh, the last one was a blue crabber, I didn't even notice. So that was okay. Optimally, you'll finish with a little over 20 seconds left on the timer, but really, as long as you don't run out of time, you're okay. I've actually had to finish that star with 1 second remaining on the timer. It is a massive Monka S. Alright. So we just got one more star left in this cleanup session, and it's actually in World 1. And here's the second Rosalina letter. So the last comet I need to get here is Bowser Jr.'s Fiery Flotilla's Comet, which is just a fight against Gobblegut on a 2-minute time limit, which is way too much time for this level. This star is the fight is basically gonna be the same as it was in Fire Plateau 1, where I'm gonna try to attack Gobblegut while he's in the air. Hopefully it goes exactly the same as it did last time. If it doesn't, then you'll get to see just how annoying this fight can be. Okay, that's not that good. That's the first hit, though. That's an easy one to back up. Okay. So, yeah, I messed that up. Gallo got moved in a weird way, so I wasn't able to properly react. Second phase still going well. That's definitely the harder of the two phases. And it's definitely the one you don't want to screw up on. But even still, that mistake probably cost me about like 10 seconds. Yeah, roughly that. It could have been way, way worse though. And we are finally done with this cleanup session, so now we can get back to World 4 and continue making progress. So we still have a few more comments to clear out before we actually get to some new stuff. So first we have Sweet Mysteries comment. So these are the purple coin comments that could have spawned earlier but didn't, because Puzzle Plane comment wasn't collected yet. This is just collecting 100 purple coins on Yoshi with the Bullberry. No infinite fluttering needed for the star unless I fall off. The only big thing is that Yoshi walks really, really fast. So you want to be walking as much as possible, but that also makes it really hard to not miss any purple coins. So this is a very tough star to do optimally. And every time I jump, I'm going to cancel the jump early with a short flutter by double tapping A. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I might be able to make... No, I'm not going to make this cycle. If you're fast enough in this section, you can make it to this block before it moves too far to the left, and you don't have to wait on it. But it's insanely precise. Yeah, that was not too great of a star. But that's just kind of what can happen there. It's really easy to make tiny mistakes that just kind of add up. And believe it or not, this next star is actually even worse in that regard. So Flipsole Comet is yet another purple coin comet, except this time I'm collecting them in the 2D section where the silver stars were, which means I have to deal with the gravity changing cycles. And the route I'm going to be going for here requires a lot of really tight cycle making, and it also relies on the fact that when you use the spin drill, your hitbox just grows massively and allows you to collect a lot of purple coins in a close enough range. So a lot of things can go wrong in this star, so I'm going to need to focus for this first half here. So there's really only one significant time-saving strat here. If you let this gold chomp break as soon as the cosmic cones spawn, like that, then the next gold chomp spawns a little bit sooner. That's literally the only strat here.
Disconnected again, oh, we're back up now. Oh well, actually no, we're not. We're back on. Hold on. Oh boy. Hold on.
What's going on?
There we go, we're back on. The time is still running though, so don't worry about it.
No, I'm local recording, so, and this run isn't PB pace anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's fine.
Alright. I don't know what just happened, so, if we're back on, so basically, here I have enough stars to access this barrier, but I'm not going to be going to Gravity Gauntlet yet. And the reason why I just did that is so that the path from Starshine Beach to Gravity Gauntlet is drawn. And that will prevent the path draw cutscene from playing after Starshine Beach 1, which will save about 5 seconds. So that's why I did that cleanup session much earlier, so I could get enough stars to do that. So Starshine Beach 1 is kind of an open world galaxy. There's silver stars that are kind of spread about. And we can use Yoshi for the star. Which means there's a lot of interesting stuff we can do here with the route. And Yoshi doesn't dissolve when he touches water in this game, so it's he's very useful here. So I can infinite flutter up here, and I can use that crabber that I just ate to break this glass. And then I can use another infinite flutter to go from here to the tower. This infinite flutter is actually kind of difficult due to the perspective. The camera doesn't always make it super easy to know if your lineup is good, but that was perfect. Right. And then using the dash pepper here, I can actually run on super deep water. Hopefully this ending goes smoothly. Okay, I'm surprised I made that. That was a really bad angle. But so that was another high-speed dismount on a slope with Dash Pepper Yoshi, which allows me to get that 5th silver star a lot quicker. Alright, so this is a combo medal that's kind of out of the way. You do have to dedicate around 10 seconds to getting it, but it will net me one of the fastest combat stars in the run, so it is absolutely worth getting. Again, infinite following just has a super high top speed. So normally, if I didn't unlock the path to Gravity Gauntlet earlier, there would be a path draw cutscene after this star, but there's not going to be one because I've already drawn that path, so I just saved about 5 seconds. Okay, now we have Starshine Beach 2. This is normally a very, very convoluted star that you can simplify with a pretty easy skip. So normally, in order to get up this tower, you need the Cloud Flower in order to get up onto the clouds. But if you remember in Honey Bloom 1, I was able to use very tight jumps to jump off the clouds without using Cloud Mario. And in order to get high enough to get onto the highest cloud, I'm going to use a Chuckster Throw. So we're going to start by just long jumping my way over to the tower here. I have to turn the camera at a very specific time here to manipulate some cycles. Right there. I'm going to let the Chuckster throw me and then spin onto the highest cloud here. And then jump off at the right time, and then I can just walk onto the tower and just get up here early. And that probably saves close to a minute. Alright. And now, we're finally able to go on to the boss level of World 4, which is going to be Bowser's Gravity Gauntlet. This is a very, very interesting galaxy when it comes to speedruns, because there are numerous gravity exploits and lava boosting exploits that can be used to skip massive chunks of the level, and there's multiple different strategies available. And on top of that, I'm actually going to be doing both the regular star and the comet in this run. So you'll get to see you actually get to see me attempt 2 different strats to skip most of the star here. So what I'm going to be attempting in this is the traditional behind the castle, where you lava boost behind the in the lava plane behind this castle section to get into the gravity zone of the last 2D section of the level. It saves about 20 seconds or so if you do it perfectly. And I need to do it on this star because the skip is right next to where you need to get the common medal, and I need the common medal. This skip is actually way, way harder than it looks. And failing it is a massive time loss, so hopefully it goes well. We can do the Bowser fight. Okay, so this Bowser fight actually increases the difficulty by quite a bit. For one, Bowser only drops 2 meteors instead of 3 in this fight, like he does in the other fights, which means it's a lot harder to... It's a lot less likely that you'll get the correct meteor close enough, and also he can punch both of them out at the same time, which would be really, really bad. And there's also shockwaves coming off of both the meteors and his punches, so there's a lot more for you to dodge. Okay, so I have to dodge those 2 hits. There's nothing you can do to speed that up. So for this first hit, I'm going to be doing a punch cancel. So Bowser's going to attempt a punch attack normally after this first hit, but if I wait here, and then I hit him right as he starts charging up the punch, then it'll skip that attack. So that does end up saving a couple seconds. I don't need to do that for any more hits in the fight, though, because he doesn't try to punch immediately after them. So the rest of this fight is basically the same as the lava layer fight, except with the other stuff I already mentioned. I have to make sure not to miss any hits, because again, those are 20-second time losses each time. That's good. It's actually possible. It's less likely to happen in this fight, but it can happen in the final fight. Bowser's shell can actually deflect the meteors. So that's why you usually try to see me hit like his arm, and I usually try to like aim inward in a way. Well, there you go. That's that fight. So that finally marks the end of the World 4 segment, and we've only got about like an hour left. And this last hour of the run is definitely a nerve-wracking part. A lot of Worlds 5 and 6 have a lot of run killers. And it's especially stressful if you're on PB pace. But we're in what I would consider the late game now. Sort of the last third of the run, if you will. So World 5 is going to be pretty straightforward. We're kind of going to go back to the whole linear, going through it, just kind of in one go sort of thing. And there's not too many stars I need to collect here. I need to get to... I'm at 46 right now, and I need to get to 55 to get to Bowser Jr.'s Boom Bunker. So there's not a whole lot of stars I need to collect here. But the ones I am going to get are pretty interesting. So to start, we got Space Storm 1. There's no... this is a star that is actually required in the run. There's actually no way to get around it. But fortunately, it's a relatively fast star. So Space Storm 1, there's... that cylinder planet you see there is all about cycles. A lot of moving objects there that I have to work around. And there's also pole stars here, which are pointer-based. Alright, there's a very precise long jump I'm going to go for here that saves about 5 seconds in platform cycles. That might not have looked too hard. When I was first learning that, it took me about an hour to get down. Right. Barely made that cycle. So that was a really good second planet. Here, I just have to throw a bob on to break some glass here. Long jump straight to the launch star. And this last section has a lot of full stars for me to navigate through, and maintaining optimal speed through full stars is really difficult. You have to sort of let go of the full star before you reach its center in order to maintain momentum. And there's a lot of obstacles in your way, so it's very easy to just get hit. Just like that. That wasn't too bad, though. So now that I've collected that, pretty much the bulk of World 5 is going to be unlocked. I'm actually going to stay in Space Storm to get Space Storm 2, which is another insanely fast star. I think it's the second fastest in the run. So Space Storm 2 actually is sort of like a callback to Buoy-based Galaxy from the first Galaxy game. It even has the Buoy-based music. Unfortunately, you won't be able to hear too much of it. You'll notice that all the moving platforms in this level move really fast. Those blue switches are supposed to slow down time, but I'm going to try not to hit any of them. So there's kind of 2 large-scale skips you can do here. The first is coming up right here, where instead of going to the right and dealing with all that nonsense, you can just go to the left here and just long jump up this. Come back up here. Okay, so I meant to get on those later moving platforms, but messed it up. And then I can use the triple jump here to skip the top man fight. There we go. So that wasn't perfect, but that was still really fast. Alright. So I'm actually gonna kind of go off route a little bit here. So the next galaxy I'm going to go to is SuperViperT, and I'm actually going to be doing SuperViperT 1 first. And the reason why might seem kind of odd, because normally I would do Secret first, but whenever you enter one of these galaxies, you have to wait for all the stars that you've either collected or are available to spawn on the menu before you can select them. So by doing SuperViperT 1 first, I can make it so that only 1 star spawns the second time I enter, which can save a little bit of time. So I'm going to try this out and see what happens. So SuperViperT 1 has a cool gravity skip I can do at the start here that uses Pod Mario. I basically skip from the beginning of this first planet to the end of the second. It's a little tight, but that should work. Alright. That's actually not good. So I need to be at least 2 health in this section, so I'm going to have to kill an Octumba to get some health here. I could die, but that would just be wasteful. Once you get past that. So I turned the camera there in order to manipulate the cycles of these falling icicles, so I can just long jump past them and skip them like that. So that wasn't good, but hey, at least I tried it out. And now I have to fight levels. So 660 was the score I got last time. Oh, I almost had 770. It's not the last time we're going to see the chimp. Okay, so the next portion of the World 5 route is going to be a little bit weird. But trust me, it does save time. So, next I'm going to be going to Blue Moon Galaxy, and I'm going to be doing Blue Moon 1. This star is no longer in the optimal any % route, but like I said, that route does a trick that is really, really dumb, and I'm nowhere near good enough at it to do it in runs, let alone in a marathon. But Blue Moon 1 is still a pretty cool star. So it's good that we get to show this off at least. So this star, this beginning planet is pretty simple, and then the star is normally just a bunch of snake block auto-scrollers that you can kind of skip with some precise jumps, but Blue Moon 1 has a pretty unique gravity skip to it. Alright, so there is a frame-perfect camera cancel. That's another planet where you can't normally go into first person, but you can do a camera cancel if you press up on the first frame. Alright. So I'm going to go forward a little bit here in order to activate this snake block, and then also activate this wall so that the gravity field will activate. And then I can jump onto the snake block, jump off, spin, and then enter the launch star just like that. So that skips the last part of that snake block section. It takes a little bit of time. We just got some silver stars to finish off here. I'm going to get later, but I'm actually going to be splitting Blue Moon into another star in Blue Moon. I'm going to get later, but I'm actually going to be splitting Blue Moon into 2 trips. Just to overlap the star text boxes with other events in the world map to save like a fraction of time. It's really weird how it works out, but just trust me when I say it's faster.
Has your stream disconnected? Yeah, I can't seem to get connected to your stream.
Yes!
Hold on.
Maybe it's the server.
Could be. Hold on a moment.
Do we need to drop?
No, it's fine. I think we're back on. There we go. Yeah, we're back.
Alright.
We're alright.
Well, I don't know if it's my end or not.
You haven't had any more drop frames, have you?
I have not had any more drop frames since I last had them.
Okay. I'll just keep an eye on it. I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh boy. This is not good. So yeah, this hallway is, if you mess up at all, you lose an insane amount of time. Because you just kind of snowball your way through here, and I messed up at the very start, so now my whole cycle is off. Alright. I recovered it fairly well, though. Upside Dizzy is the sequel level to Right Side Down. It's it's a lot more confusing than its predecessor, and it's heavily reliant on cycles. So that was Upside Dizzy 1, and now I'm going to be doing Upside Dizzy Secret, which is another box burning minigame. It's basically the It's basically similar to the previous one, except the time is a little bit tighter to make. Oh, okay, so something very frustrating happened there that hasn't happened to me in a while, so Mario just kind of switched directions before he switched, when he switched gravity fields, he switched directions, which means I couldn't do that Goomba bounce optimally. So I lost a little bit of time getting into the fight there. Oh. Backflipping to that Guillermo is supposed to be faster, but I messed it up. So it's worth noting that the fireballs don't come out of Mario's center, they actually come out of his right hand. So you have to aim a little bit to the left of where you want to be. And this is the last engine room visit. It's just as useless as all the other times. Last time I have to do that movement. So now I'm going to go back to Boom Moon, and I have to make sure again that I don't auto-select Boom Moon 2, because I want to do Boom Moon Secret. So I need to select Boom Moon 1. So this star is mostly just auto-scrollers. Because it's basically just riding on the snake blocks through most of those stars. And I can't do the skip that I did before because I actually have to ride the snake blocks all the way, and I need the Kama medal. Here. And there's a second set of snake blocks you can ride here, but you can also just skip it by just long jumping straight to the star. That's actually way easier than just doing it casually. Okay, one more star left before we can move on to the boss level, and that's going to be SuperViperT's Comet. So this is the third Romp Comet. It's just killing 30 Octumba enemies on Prince Bacante's platform with Rainbow Mario. Pretty simple star. The big thing here is that it's actually faster to run instead of skate in order to kill all the Octumbas, and you can also make tighter turns while running. So to build up momentum here, what I'm going to do is as soon as I land on this planet, I'm going to skate into the Rainbow Star to build up momentum, and then jump out of the skate and just start running. And then from here I should be able to clear out all 30 of these with a single Rainbow Star. That was almost optimal. Okay, so so now I have 55 stars, which means it's time for Bowser Jr.'s Boom Bunker, aka probably one of the scariest stars in the run.
Oh, yeah.
So, this level revolves around cannon shots, which are pointer-based, and that wouldn't be too bad, except for the fact that the 2 cannon shots I have to make in this level are extremely precise, and failing them equals death. And they're not fast deaths either. This is a very challenging level when your hands are not the best at being steady. So hopefully this goes well. This level has killed a lot of runs for many players. So this first cannon shot is definitely the harder of the 2, and it's also the way more riskier one. So I just need to aim right at that Boomerang Burst face. That was very good aim. Yeah, it's super easy to miss that cannon shot and die, and it's like a 30-second death. And the second cannon shot's a bit more forgiving. So I need to get this Kama medal, and then I can just long jump straight to the end here instead of using clouds. It only saved like a couple seconds, but it's not too bad. And now we have a fight with Bowser Jr.'s Boomsday Machine. This is a pretty interesting fight, to say the least, because it can either go really well for you or really well for Bowser Jr. And there really isn't any in between. These first 2 hits aren't too bad, you just gotta get to the top of them. Alright, for the second hit I do have to wait a little bit. I don't know what happened there, I just didn't spin when I was supposed to. That was weird, but we'll roll with it. Alright, this third hit is the hardest one. You have to move really quickly here. Alright, at least that went well. Messing that up is a big, big time loss. Also, F's in the chat for Bowser Jr. Okay, so that's the 5th Grand Star, so we just have 1 left. So, at this point, we have a little under 30 minutes left in the... a little under 40 minutes left in the run, give or take. So, we're in the home stretch here. Unfortunately, World 6 is where any percent runs go to die. A lot of very challenging stars here, and many mistakes are 30 seconds or more, which just kill good paced runs. You really gotta keep it together here.
Just responding to what you put in the Discord, what did you mean by mercy kill?
Do we want to... Okay, I messaged you in Discord. Do we want to mercy kill this?
No, it's fine, we're fine. It's pretty much stable now, I think.
Well, this has happened like multiple times, so I'm just asking.
No, it's fine. After your run, it's the dinner break anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much.
Alright. Because I don't want to keep disrupting the stream. I mean, and plus, like... I don't know, it just seems like you might want to spend some time figuring this out, because I don't think it's on my end.
Yeah, well, I've got time in the dinner break, you see, so I'll be able to try and see if we can sort something out then.
Well, I can at least try and finish this because this run is relatively okay for a no reset.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes for the next like half an hour or so and see if it keeps disconnecting constantly. Then we'll kill the run. But
I mean, I'll still finish it because I'm over recording and it's good practice.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, as far as the actual run's concerned at the moment, it's being quite stable now. So we're okay for the time being. What big trip are you speaking at again?
Yeah, we probably shouldn't do perfect run though. You can probably just cancel that incentive.
Yeah, well, that one expired anyway before the start of the run, so that.
Oh, I was gonna offer to let it keep going until the end of the run.
Oh, okay. No, that's already closed anyway, so that's fine. In terms of what bit ring were you speaking at again?
Okay. Yeah, I missed a tornado cycle here because I wasn't fast, but it's not a huge deal.
Viper. Hello?
Hi.
Oh, hi, sorry. What bit ring were you speaking at again? Was it 1000?
So this is Melty Monster. Melty Monster 1, kind of an involved level. A lot of cool minor things you can do here and there. This section's annoying because every single planet has its own gravity field. Made it through alright though. Alright, so that star is pretty simple. I'm actually gonna keep earbuds in for the rest of this run in case something else happens. And then the last two stars all revolve around bowling. And these last two stars in Melty Monster are really easy if you do easy strats, and really hard if you do fast strats. Alright, so again, I'm going to be doing the stars in a specific order here to make sure only one star shows up on the star select menu instead of two. Or two show up instead of three. So Melty Monster 2 is a very, very straightforward level, but it's a very scary one. There's a lot that can go wrong here. This is actually a good level for farming star bits if you need to fill out your bank toad for whatever reason.
Yes.
If you need to farm star bits for whatever reason, you can get a lot of them here. So, up until the end, this level is, again, pretty straightforward, but there is a skip I can go for at the end. That saves about 3 seconds if you get it, and loses 45 if you miss it. It's known as Zigzag Skip. And it's basically just rolling across tiny gaps to avoid having to take back and forth fences at the very end. It's super, super precise. So we'll see if I feel like going for it. Alright, nice. That's way harder than it looks. Although, if you do that star the intended way, you also run the risk of the bumpers just sending you in a random direction for no good reason.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of a darned if you do, darned if you don't strat. Right, and then the last star in Melty Monster, this is the definition of it's easy if you do easy strats, and it's ridiculously hard if you do fast strats. So if you remember in Boulder Bowl 1, I did the strat where I spin jumped onto a ramp to deactivate its effects so I could jump at the edge of it. I'm going to be doing that to avoid having to stop after taking some of the ramps and keep rolling. But doing this requires me to do really, really precisely timed jumps that are kind of blind. So Hopefully this goes okay. So I have to do that 3 more times. I have to get out 50 of these pins here. There's 56 in total. Oh, okay. I have to die. There's only 9 pins in that end section there, so... I wouldn't have been able to complete the minigame. I jumped an extra time than I needed to. Let's try that again. I actually got all the ramp jumps, but I missed too many pins. Wow, I got it twice in a row. I'm so good at this game. Yeah, that's a very unfortunate time loss. That's definitely about like 45 seconds or something. Well, there we go. That's it for Melty Monster. So at this point, I have the option to either go the top path or the bottom path, but I have enough star bits to unlock Flash Black, and it's going to be slightly faster, again, for me to take the bottom path first. So this is the last Hungry Luma of the run. So the gimmick with this level, this is Flash Black Galaxy, and the gimmick with this is that you only get a brief glimpse of the level layout every few seconds, and the rest of the time it's in complete darkness. But once you play the level enough times, you just kind of have the layout memorized. And there's actually a recent optimization that's been made to this level. So normally you're supposed to use Yoshi and the Blimp to climb up the entire mansion. And you do need Yoshi for at least the first bit of the mansion, but you can actually climb most of it by just using Mario's platforming, and it actually can save a couple seconds.
Yes!
It's pretty precise to actually save time with, but it's really cool to show off. Alright, so I'm gonna get on Yoshi here. I need him to get up to this platform, and then from here I don't need him. Alright, that was really good. Overall. Alright. Oh. Okay, that was actually a little bit slow, but nothing too severe happened there. And then here I just have some silver stars to collect in the dark. Right, this yellow platform is on a different cycle every time I play this level. And I'm probably dead. Yeah, I'm dead. I bull rushed that a little too quickly. And then the next level is pretty chill. It's a slimy spring. The only reason the star's on the route is because it's better than doing Battle Belt, and I have to do one of those 2 galaxies to get to the end.
Yeah.
So we get to just kind of chill for the next couple minutes, because it's basically just 2 minutes of swimming underwater with the shell. Yeah, I'm not going to have a whole lot to say here for the next couple minutes. There's a kind of cool strat I can do here. Pretty simple. And then I think I'm close enough to this toad to do a squeeze backflip, where I can backflip and have the hitbox push me into the star. Oh, I was too close, so it pushed me the wrong way. Now I gotta go to the top path to get a few fast stars. Okay, so Clockwork Ruin secret, I have to collect 30 coins to feed a hungry Luma, but I can do it all in this first section. Very cycle-based star, again, and dying means your cycles will be thrown off by a lot, so you don't want to do that. And the physics in this level are dumb. I'm gonna go for a kind of fast track here that I haven't attempted in a while, but I might die to this. Alright, I was able to do that triple jump here, so that actually allows me to be fast enough to make it here to grab this coin. So now I don't have to grab an extra coin from the final gear if I do this perfectly, which I didn't. Oh my god. So I don't think I really netted any time save there. And this last planet, you can pretty much skip all of it with a simple triple jump wall kick. Nice. I'm probably not going to be talking much. I'm starting to get a little bit tired. Okay. So now we have Throwback Galaxy, the recreation of Womp's Fortress from that SN64 stole from this game. So I gotta go a little bit out of my way here to get the common medal. After this common medal, I'll have 32, so this'll mean I didn't miss a common medal at all. Okay. And it is possible to use this womp to clip through the floor in order to skip having to kill it, which should save about 5 seconds, but it's a dumb strat. Alright, nice, I got another frame perfect ground pound. Okay, here's Womp King. This is a boss fight that's pretty straightforward as well. Yeah, so King Womp kind of vibrates after you hit him, so you can actually jump up as he's vibrating upwards and get an insane amount of height. It's not really useful for anything, but it's kind of cool. Oh, I didn't get it there. Well, I got another gold split. I think that's my 4th this run. It's either my 3rd or my 4th.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, we're good on common medals. And this will be the last time Lubba bothers me. Okay, so time for Throwback 2. This is just silver stars, kind of spread about the level in random locations. There's some cool movement you can do with the Cloud Flower. That mistake doesn't matter, because I needed to wait for that platform to move anyways. Okay, the last 6 stars before Bowser's Galaxy Generator to get to 70 are all comets. So we are officially in the home stretch here.
Oh, yeah.
So the first I'm going to get is Bowser's Gravity Gauntlet Comet. This is the one I needed to get 32 Comet Medals for. This is a relatively fast star. And I did the Behind the Castle skip earlier in Gravity Gauntlet 1, but this time I'm going to do a faster skip that involves a lava wall boost, which basically if you hit a lava wall, what should be vertical momentum from a lava boost gets translated into horizontal momentum, and you can accelerate really, really quickly because lava doesn't have any friction. And I can use this to gain enough momentum to do a gravity exploit that's about 5 seconds faster than Behind the Castle. It does require some changing directions at very specific intervals. That should be good. So yeah, very visually impressive looking skip there. Okay, now I have a couple of nice little breather stars here, because that trick can be extremely scary.
Oh, yeah.
Starshine Beach Comet. This is the comet that I went out of my way to get the Comet Medal in Starshine Beach 1 for. It's a very fast and very easy star. There are way more than 100 purple coins here, and you're on Dash Yoshi basically the entire time. I do want to try not to miss that many, though. And I have to make tiny adjustments on the nunchuck stick in order to do that. Alright, 88 is a pretty good number there, so I can actually kind of cut off to the right here. That's not good. Alright. Backed it up. Ugh. Cannot wait for this to be over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, this comet is just and the Honey House 2, but with Cosmic Bones, still just a bunch of long jumps. I'm sorry if it seems like my commentary is getting kind of dry. I'm just really tired. We have less than 15 minutes left in this run, though, so it'll be over soon.
Yes! Woohoo! 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 Oh, yeah. Yahoo!
I almost clicked on Very Simply by accident. You can click on a galaxy with the Wii remote instead of moving there with the nunchuck. And if that were to have happened, I would have moved all the way there and it would have lost a lot of time. But that exact kind of tech will be used. In a little bit. Oh, yeah, by the way, this star, the comet in the English version says in double time, but the blocks are actually moving 4 times as fast. And also the silver star area has expanded by quite a bit. Okay, this, I don't know which blocks are going to be present after the cutscene here. I may have to do a safety spin. Alright. That ended up working out. They can switch on the last possible frame.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, and you just got 2 stars, and they're both in World 6, and they're both comets. And one of them is basically just a repeat of a star I've already done. Throwback Comet is basically just Throwback 2, but with the time limit. And it's literally almost the exact same star. The only differences here are the timer and then the couple cycles at the beginning are slightly different.
Yes! Wahoo!
Alright, 1 left. Well, 2 left technically, but 1 left before Galaxy Generator.
Oh, yeah. Wahoo!
That was a little slow at the end there. Okay, if that Octoon had hit me, it probably would have knocked me off the edge and killed me. That was good until the very end. That's another Womp Comet, where you just gotta kill 30 Octoombas. For most of them, you just want to shoot them with star bits and then kick them, because that allows you to keep moving quicker. Alright, now we have 70 stars, so we can now finish the game properly. Alright. Time for the infamous purple idiot skip, the hardest skip in the game. So, I just saved 30 seconds and you didn't even realize it. There's supposed to be a cutscene on the space before Galaxy Generator, but you can skip over it by just clicking on the Galaxy Generator space with the Wii Remote. It's called Purple Idiot Skip for obvious reasons. Right, this is a really, really good final level. It's like the right level of challenging and fair. And it's also got epic music and a lot of really cool tricks. First of which is actually coming up right here. Yeah, that's another lava wall boost there. And here I'm gonna lose the drill intentionally. That way I can long jump and skip over parts of this section. And my cycles here are pretty good. And we got one final infinite flutter to end the run on. This basically skips the entire rest of the level. That should be top shelf. Okay, we're not out of the woods quite yet. We still have final Bowser to go through. So I want to shout out my PB. I didn't even miss a hit on any of the... I didn't miss a hit in this first part of the fight, and I still lost like 20 seconds to the fights. Just because I kept making silly minor mistakes. Yeah, Bowser pulls out his punches extremely quickly here. So you have to react super quickly and hope you get good placement. Well, it's not entirely RNG. Punch cancel here is one I have way less time for. Okay, third and fourth hits, Bowser pulls out his fists insanely quickly. Hopefully I don't hit him too late and cancel the punching of the meteor attack by accident. Oh wow, that barely hit him. I like nabbed him in the foot. That was a really bad angle. I'm surprised that worked. Okay, I'm also surprised that worked. That was really sketch. Yeah, like I said in the Grounding Gauntlet fight, Bowser's hit all can deflect the meteors, and for some reason it feels like his hit... We don't know for sure if his hitbox is actually bigger, but it feels like it is in this fight, so that hit was probably really close to being bounced off. And that would have really sucked. By the way, time is not actually coming up. I know I should probably joke about it, but I'm tired. I'm ready to get this over with. Yeah, there's one more phase to the fight here, and it's pathetically easy. That's gonna miss. Oh, wow, that actually hit. Really weird Bowser fights. Alright, time is going to be coming up in a little under a minute. It'll be when I touch the star, so this is like a mid 302. This could have been like a 300 if I didn't absolutely crap the bed in World 6. I'm ready to get some sleep. So my PB in this category is a 259.41. I'm actually going to be working on this Galaxy 1, 64, and Sunshine to improve the my 3D Mario 246 with PB, which is this category, along with SM64 70 Star, Galaxy 1 90%, and Sunshine 90%. So I'll be hopefully trying to play a lot more of these games over the coming weeks and whatnot. I think I might try a 246 tomorrow, but I'm not sure. Anyway, get ready on time. And time. So my timer says 302.23, that is plus 241 on PB. So hopefully that was enjoyable to some degree. Sorry about all the tech issues and all that. I'm not entirely sure what that was, but that's it for me, and I'll throw it on over to the tea break.
Hold on 2 seconds. Yeah, my timer says 302.33, but again, there's probably some tech issues that kind of disrupted the timer there a little bit. That's fine. Anyway, thank you very much for the run. We're going to go over to the tea break. Before we do that, I just want to mention that the Outlast run after the tea break has been cancelled. Unfortunately, the runner has come down with a case of COVID, and that means that we're going to have to cancel that run today, unfortunately. So after the tea break is going to be extended until 10 to 7 instead, so that we're not actually running early today. So the tea break will be extended a little bit longer, and the run after the tea break will be the Portal 2 Inbounds No SLA run by Jayo and Fridge. Don't forget, we're also doing this as a charity event, of course, where everyone can. We've raised £145 in total so far. Our goal by the end of the marathon, of course, is £750. It's been a bit of a slow day today for donations, but hopefully we can pick some up over the second part of today. We'll see how things go. But thank you to everybody who has donated, of course. It's absolutely grateful and it all goes to an amazing cause. Now, Viper, I know that you kind of want to head off, and in fairness, I do too. I'm very tired and I'm quite hungry now. So,
All right.
do you have any final remarks that you'd like to make before?
Not really. I think I said all I can say. Really.
That's fine. Well, we'll hopefully see you again soon. It was an enjoyable run despite the tech issues. So,
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.